The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com, 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? Celtics Talk podcast. Just a couple bros hanging out.
Bros.
What was going on in the postgame show, Tom Giles?
What do you mean?
You guys.
We got a bro.
Eddie House was roasting you guys because you guys said bros like pretty funny.
I don't think we actually said bros. I think he just accused us of being bros. But
Did you hear how he said it?
Though? Oh my God! Yeah.
The bros.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how to.
Were you offended?
Only Eddie was I offended? No.
Yeah.
Eddie was on one tonight, man. He made that entertaining. Like in a game where the Celtics were up 25-3 and found a way to lose, like Eddie brought the energy and yeah, it was good laughs.
I wish we could get him Eddie candid right after the game because homeboy was hot. He was fuming.
Isn't that what we got?
Furious. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
he was.
I mean, I would love
upset.
for the people to get him unfiltered with the non-restrictions on words he can say.
I know.
And that would be
I know.
fun. We could probably charge we should have post up plus or something like that where we charge for episodes.
Post up,
and
non-explicit
you can get unfiltered
plus.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm for it. Yeah, let's do it.
Appreciate you being a bro.
I was gonna say, am I just gonna awkwardly stand here the whole time?
Yeah,
No, wait,
please.
you're free to go. You're free to go. Appreciate you, bro.
Giles, I'm trying to distract from the fact that the Boston Celtics had what was the biggest lead of the night?
25-3, Chris. 25-3. Can we wrap our mind around that? And then Chris,
Okay,
I'm
good.
gonna vent.
You're taking the ball here.
I don't want to take it. You got it. I'm just gonna say my little piece on this.
Go for it.
11-0 run in the start, and the crowd. I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, this is a good night. 25-3, and then it just slowly got out of reach, and then that third quarter. I mean, it was tough.
I was worried coming into this one. We had a whole big discussion on our pregame show about threat level, and Eddie was. I think part of the reason Eddie was so grumpy, and as you'll hear later in the pod, is he said he thought the Cavs were a zero threat in the Eastern Conference, and my pushback was look, I think I know. Okay, well let me explain it to you. So we all think the Celtics are gonna win a second championship and be on duck boats and all that, and Eddie was particularly vocal about that. And so his whole thing was he couldn't give any team any sort of respect because he's certain the Celtics are going to win it. The problem is I think the Cavs have earned the respect, and I think Eddie even upgraded it to a 3 after the game, reluctantly, after I badgered him.
Reluctantly.
But for me it comes down to coming into this game, I knew the Cavs were going to be motivated, riding another winning streak after having the Celtics bust one of them here earlier this season. And it felt like if it was going to be close, then you give Donovan Mitchell a chance, and we see what he has been able to do. Two of the four games this year that the Cavs won were dominated by Donovan Mitchell. And so I walk away, again, I just think we're steamrolling towards a Celtics-Cavs Eastern Conference Finals. That's my big takeaway from tonight. It's these two teams are just, to me, light years ahead of everybody else in the Eastern Conference. And weird things happen and injuries happen, and I would love to see this on a bigger stage, but for tonight, you're undeniably right. It's frustrating because they were so good for long stretches. The Jays pairing up for 83 points, the big run to start the second half and building a lead back to 17, and yet the Cavs were cockroaches. They would never go away.
And Scal's big thing was we didn't guard. We didn't guard. And there's truth to that. But I want to ask you about, you made a good point, not on air. And you just,
usual.
I only saw, not usual.
I save them for the after show.
You said, I only saw Jason Tatum guard Donovan Mitchell one time. You want to see, I would like to see Jason Tatum lock down Donovan Mitchell more.
Yeah, and I think it was late in the fourth quarter, and there might have been one or two possessions. I'll have to go back and watch the tape. I just remember thinking, in that moment, what's going to happen, right? Donovan Mitchell's going to try to take over that game. Now, you don't want to overreact because now you're leaving opportunities for, Okoro in the corner got a million good looks. Darius Garland was everywhere. But undeniably, if you knew if they were coming back, if they were going to win that game, it was going to be Darius Garland.
Yeah.
And Donovan Mitchell. And that's what happened. He had every big shot. He actually missed a couple floaters too along the way. They would get offensive rebounds. It was just backbreaking stuff. I think there does have to be a balance. So on a night you don't have Drew Holiday, Derek White got hit pretty hard at the end of the game. I know Jaylen took on that assignment a lot tonight, and it's asking it almost feels unfair. Okay, Tatum, go score almost 50 points, have your 15 rebounds, 9 assists, but also can you guard and
shut
Donovan
down one of the
Mitchell
top players, right?
For a stretch of the game. It's totally unfair, and it might not even be the right matchup. But I do think I have that much respect for Tatum that I think he could take turns on him, and I do think those two superstars in that moment have to be the guys that, hey, we're going to get this to the finish line of a win, and I think they'll go home and think the same thing. Like, man, is there just something a little bit more that we could have done to, even though 83 points, it's hard to ask for more.
Selfishly, for the fan base, for the idea of it, I would love to see. Like, wouldn't you want to see that matchup? Wouldn't you want to see? I want the whole, everyone clear out one-on-one. And I know that's unrealistic, but, Jason, just lock this guy down, especially when you see Donovan Mitchell do his thing, which that was inevitable. We knew that was going to happen. He didn't have the great first quarter. He starts to, do his thing.
He lulls
it's
you
like
into a false sense of security, he's not going to have a big night.
And then that big shot where he silenced the crowd and just goes, no, I got this. That was in that moment that the Celtics knew, okay, this may be an issue and he may go off. It's just, I can't, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around them not finding ways to shut him down. He's going to explode to what he did, but for the Jays to do what they did and not to come out with the win, and not just because, Chris, they had 80-plus points, but all the other things like the hustle plays, but the glass was an issue. I'm struggling with this.
It's a lot of the little stuff, and it does come down to the details. And it's so funny, little stuff too, like Tatum. And again, I don't want to put none of this was on Tatum not doing enough. But Tatum misses a layup that he probably hits 9 out of 10 times. When I think the lead was at maybe 10, they go the other way and score. That's a 4-point swing. Doesn't sound like a lot, but being up 12 instead of up 8. Matters. And so as soon as they started getting momentum, as soon as they got every little break seemed to be maximized by the Cavaliers. Now, also give a ton of credit to Kenny Atkinson. Felt like they changed up the defense, pre-switch, make sure they were getting the matchups they wanted because they were hunting. The Celtics were in the first half. It's going to be a chess match if these two teams are lucky enough to see each other again, which I just think is inevitable. And the only downside is they got to wait to get there, right? You're gonna navigate the rest of the season. I guess it's a little bit easier because you have Denver on Saturday, on Sunday, and then the Lakers later in the week, and Oklahoma City after that.
Great one.
But it is crazy. I'm left yearning for just even more after watching these two teams.
You know what I need to see though, when you see the top two teams in the East compete, I need to see the bench from the Celtics side not do what they did here tonight. Peyton Pritchard was the only one who scored off the bench with 6 points. I know Sam Hauser was in the starting lineup, but Cavs had 33 bench points to the Celtics 6. That's going to be really hard to take down the top team in any East, West, any side. And because Jason clearly tonight showed, Chris, to me, the Jays can pop off to have 80 combined plus points, and you need other guys to contribute because it's just not enough. They can only do so much. You need everyone else to start. Luke Cornett, I need you to be. I know he had 2, missed games for personal reasons, but there needs to be a big, stronger spark other than just Peyton Pritchard all the time.
100%, and it goes back to it. The bench has been really good for most of the year. They're not always going to put up big numbers, although Peyton has certainly helped them do that. It's just the efficiency, and there were certainly those moments where, Celtics start that game on a huge run. The bench starts rolling in, and even with Tatum out there with that group, they whittled it down.
They weren't missing.
So that group just has to be a little bit better. Would be nice. Again, you're invariably thinking, what if they were a little bit healthier? We talked a lot about DeAndre Hunter. The whole buzz was always going to be so much better defensively, take out the Jays. Didn't really manifest itself tonight, and yet he had a good scoring burst, which helps them get to the finish line of a win. So, all areas I think the Celtics will be able to look back and say, did a lot of good things here and here and here, and Tatum was just unreal overall. But here's 5 different things, 10 different possessions that they need to be better. And, that, again, give the Cavs credit. They have been so good in clutch time this season. I have ultimate respect for that team and what they're doing.
You think if Drew and KP were to be in this one here tonight, it would have been a different result for the Celtics?
You always think. I can't imagine the Celtics would have started the game better, and yet little things like the offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter that the Cavs were able to get to. You think about Donovan Mitchell starting to go off. Could Drew Holiday help you corral
just
him?
Defensively, right?
Undeniably.
Exactly.
And you can always play the what-if game. The Cavs have been missing guys. Cavs could sit here and say, you think that last year's series would have been different if Spider Mitchell was healthy and Mobley was healthy. It's such a hard game to play. You just got to hope, cross your fingers, that you're healthy. Because, as much as people want to lean on that idea of those two will be healthy, I mean, Drew is going to have to get paced because he's older, and now with the finger issue, the mallet finger, which I guess we should get into.
It's like Abby tried to show us in the beginning. It's like a. I'm trying to bend my finger correctly.
He was on the bench, and I was trying to look. I think I couldn't tell from afar. I thought it was the pinky that was taped. I think if you had to pick a finger that, the pinky is probably the best of the
I'd pick the pinky, yeah. Maybe thumb. No, you need to get
regardless, the little stuff like that, you can sit there and say it would be different if they were out there. They got to be out there, and so KP's got to get healthy, and I know it's just an illness now, but we know what happened last season. So it's all the variables to it. But the big thing is, I go back. The Celtics bench, such a difference maker last season in a lot of these games. I'm with you. Got to be just a little bit better. Let's talk about a couple of the random things from tonight.
Okay, hit me.
Grimace was here.
Grimace was here.
And they ruined the Grimace game.
Have we seen Grimace? We haven't seen.
You know what? I can't say that
I haven't.
No, I think they had some mascots here. Because I vividly remember we were up there, but I don't think it was Grimace.
I walked up and saw Grimace, and I was like, Grimace? Is that Grimace?
The green Grimace was here a short time ago.
Yeah,
that's right.
The
shamrock shape.
Oh,
yes.
you're right.
Our great cameraman Barry Alley pointing out that was what it was last time we were here, because McDonald's has the fourth quarter sponsorship.
Purple
Grimace.
Grimace.
This is a free throw. We get some chicken McNuggets. So at least we have that going for us with a $2 purchase or something. Check your out. But imagine telling either of us when we were just little children growing up in Massachusetts that someday we'd be on a program talking about the Celtics. I mean, that alone would be wild. Oh, but also Grimace will be hanging out in the background.
He was at a post-up or post-game show. Yeah. I just peep and I see a big blob of purple and I'm like, oh, hi, Grimace. Hi, what's up?
And Grimace was giving out fist pounds, dancing, trying to muscle way into shots.
That was a first for me. I think that's a bucket list I didn't even know I could check off.
I mean, same deal.
Shout out Grimace.
I'm trying to find points of levity in this game.
I would say an Eastern Conference final preview. Like I felt like this is like we're manifesting this to go down in the future.
Well, the only difference would be we'd be recording this podcast at like 1:50 in the morning because those games are late and
11:50.
It's a long day, but I am excited for it, and I hope we get it. Anything else? Like it was.
I think
we're just left with that sour taste because they weren't able to get to the finish line.
It's kind of like watching a great movie that has a great start, and then like you're excited, you're on your feet, like, oh, this is good, and cruising through the popcorn, and then you're like, wait, no, I don't. What? And then you leave, and you're like. What was the ending to that? That's not what I signed up for.
I'm not a big movie guy. I don't have the attention span, and if I do, I just throw on like some random comedy movie like Ferris Bueller or Blues Brothers or whatever.
Ferris Bueller, great.
Do you? Is there a movie recently that you had that reaction?
That I had that reaction. Well, I hate to say it, not.
I'm gonna steal it whenever someone asks me about it. Like, well,
bad movie reaction. No, I'm not a huge movie. I haven't watched a movie in forever because I've been binge watching on all my shows.
I'm just gonna guess all the Star Wars movies.
Star Wars is great though. What do you mean? Oh, Mike Hawley's gonna kill you on that one. What?
Here's more from our post-game show.
You're not a Star Wars guy?
The award-winning 24 Auto Group is the easy choice for your next car, truck, or SUV. 11 locations and over 2,000 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock.
Shop the brands you know and love, backed by savings and service you can count on. Plus, buy 3 and get 1 free for all tire purchases, with 11 convenient locations across the South Shore of Massachusetts.
24 has the knack to save you more. Visit us in store or online at 24autogroup.com.
Donovan Mitchell, because it was the Cleveland bench that kept him in the game in the first half, but it was their superstar that took over late.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell is phenomenal. He's a great basketball player, and he was getting to every spot he wanted to get to, whether it was a three, whether it was a floater, whether it was getting into the lane, whether it was getting fouled. But you know what? Let me keep it 100 real quick, because sitting at my vantage point where I sit at, I got a great vantage point. You understand me? And so I'm looking at Jason Tatum. We lightweight got a bad whistle, and I'm not going to blame this game on us having a bad whistle, because I'm not. I'm blaming it on us not being that good defensively when we needed to do. We didn't close out the possession with the rebound. But Jason Tatum was driving to the hole I don't know how many times and was getting beat up. And they getting a foul call on the other end for something less than that. So, like, I don't get how you have a superstar player that's balling out the way he is right now, has been playing so well since All-Star break, what he had tonight?
46.
Damn near 50, right? My number. He almost had 50. And he doesn't get a call when he goes to the basket and he's getting mugged the whole way down. Didn't they call that weak old offensive foul on him with Darius Garland when he flailed his head back? So, I'm not going to blame it on all on the refs, because I'm not going to do that. That's not what I'm talking about, because we definitely had a hand to play in this, the reason why we lost this game. But they got to get better. You got to get a little bit more consistency. And also, your superstars are supposed to get calls. You know what I mean? That's just the way this league has been forever. Your star players get calls. And, besides the fact that, we just didn't close out possessions with that rebound, I feel like he didn't get the calls that he should have been getting.
You could see it, too. Like, you could see the frustration when Jason Tatum he was talking to the refs saying, like, hey, like, he not only was upset, but when he was able to hit those shots driving to the rim, he's like, okay, bet, I'm him. But still, I want those calls. Does it say something even more about him that he's still able to play through this? Because we saw the physicality in Detroit, and they didn't come out with the win there. But then you see it here against Cleveland, and he's still able to put up, 40-plus points and still do his thing. Imagine when he gets the calls and actually is going to the line. But, towards the end of this, as the season starts to wind down and you see him get to the rim, no calls, what does that say about his overall play then?
That say that they ain't respecting him. That's what it's telling me. Like, at the end of the day, that's a superstar player over there. He's been NBA, all-NBA team, and the referees do not respect him the same way that they respect somebody else that's able to get these calls at certain times. And I'm not blaming this loss purely on the referees. I say, do they have a hand in it? Yes, I do. But the big hand was we didn't close out the possession with the rebounds when we needed to. That's really, at the end of the day, we didn't close out the quarters the way that we needed to. That's the reason why we lost this game. But at the end of the day, I do have to highlight the fact that, man, the referees, get y'all stuff together, man. Y'all out there, come on. All
right, let's go back to, one of the pivotal parts here was like midway through the third quarter. Celtics were up 13. And go back to Donovan Mitchell and his impact on this game. He went on a personal 10-0 run. So it was 96-83, and just in the blink of an eye, Donovan Mitchell single-handedly made it 96-93.
So look how it started, though. Look at the drop coverage, allowing him to get comfortable, getting to his spot. Then after he got to his spot, they started picking on whoever they wanted to pick on. And once you start seeing that, this is what they was doing, is the drop coverage, letting him see the basketball go in, and after you see it go in, a star player like that, you can't cut that water off. I'm sorry. Once they get going, you can't cut it off. Can you?
No, our problem today was we had no rim protection at all. And we've been successful with the double big lineup, and we just weren't today. So if we had Luke Cornett challenging a shot or Horford, we weren't on the glass. I thought Tatum did a good job on the glass, but we got to be a better rebounding team and a better rim protecting team.
I think that was the most frustrating. Is that, Luke Cornett missing a couple of games, he's back in action, and then you see down in the paint those offensive rebounds, the ones that were bobbing in the air, and they didn't come down with it. They didn't. For me, I just felt like they didn't show enough physicality. No matter, and Nimish K, I know he wasn't in here tonight, obviously, but when we saw that in Detroit too, and Joe Mazzulla was not pleased with the lack of physicality, just being able to get boards and push in transition.
How did you feel about our closing out quarters? I don't think we did a great job closing out quarters.
It felt like Mitchell closed out every quarter.
Yeah, but except the second quarter, right? I thought we did okay in the second quarter. But besides that, closing out the possession, I thought our closeout game was not good. I'm not talking about closing out to a shot. I'm talking about closing out the possession and closing out quarters. I thought we were deplorable with that tonight.
That bad?
Yeah, I thought we were deplorable. That's why we lost.
Man, I need that word in my vocabulary.
Oh, man.
We were that bad?
You understand me?
Deplorable?
There you go, Eddie.
No, I mean, to me, Mitchell got it going. I thought the biggest problem was Donovan Mitchell got downhill, and his confidence was through the roof. He told the crowd, I got this. When
he hit that one shot.
Yeah, you got that. And then he was getting to the rim with ease. He'd get to the free throw line. And it felt like every time he missed, they would get the offensive rebound. Fourth quarter defense and rebounding was not good. But I don't remember us not closing out the third quarter. No, you're right. Donovan Mitchell.
Hello.
10-0 run.
You don't stop it.
Yeah, I guess that was deplorable.
14, I believe, in the third.
It was, yeah.
Deplorable.
You don't knock it off.
I'm all over that word this week. You know what? I just pick up a word.
No, we don't want to use that no more.
Why not?
Because we use it against another team. We don't.
No,
want
I'm
to
just
use it.
using it like around the
Just
house
adding it
now.
to
Oh, around the house.
Yeah, you're
be like-
deplorable. Clean up your dishes.
Yeah,
White
man.
Mamba.
Yeah, you don't make your bed the right. Man, that's deplorable.
That is deplorable
That's
right
a deplorable
there.
job
I'm
on
all
your
over
making
that
your bed.
for a week. For a week, I'm all over that word.
Scale's going to continue using it.
Hey, I'm gonna try to get into a game.
We're going to get into Abby standing by with head coach Joe Mazzulla.
Joe, you guys shot out to a 22-point lead in the first quarter. How did Cleveland walk that down and come out on top?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game of runs, and getting off to a lead like that in the first quarter isn't much when you're playing against a great team like them. So, some of the things in the first half, some of their offensive rebounds, a little bit of the live ball turnovers, and they're going to make runs because of their talent. And then you get in a close game, and they got some extra possessions, and we had an 18-point fourth quarter. So just got to get better.
They were targeting Sam defensively. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on time and score. And, he had some really good possessions, and we went to zone there late, and we were able to get some stops there. So Sam's been a great defender for us, and just continue to be better.
On the positive side, Jason and Jaylen combined for 83 points. That's a career high for them. But is that too much of a load for them to carry?
I mean, they made an adjustment in the second half, and they were helping a little bit less. And at the end of the day, we just have to make the right play.
Joe, what was the message that you gave to your team?
Just continue to get better.
Thank you.
Yep.
What happens when you're up that much so fast and you have so much kind of game still to play in terms of kind of taking the big picture view?
Yeah, usually, I mean, I just feel like there's naturally, we can relax a little bit, or there's a tendency to relax, and obviously the other team's not going to keep playing that bad, so they're going to make some plays, they're going to make a run. They responded. I felt like we answered right back. So that's a part of the game. That's the way the game goes. But definitely being able to be able to try to keep those leads, as best we can.
What is it about Cleveland that makes them so much tougher than they were last year?
I think one of the things, they're healthy. But I think that Kenny Atkinson, just has them playing at a very high level, and their depth helps them. But I just think that Kenny, and the way that he's got them going, they're playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Jason and Jaylen combined for 83 points. Is there a way to get a little bit more balance there, or is that okay?
I mean, a tremendous game by both of those guys. This is essentially 3 and 4 nights for us, and JT, just so impressed, with his energy, with his poise, everything that he did, and JB as well, answering the call and making tough plays, hitting tough shots defensively. You can't ask for more from those guys. Those guys are really putting it out there. The balance thing, I mean, it's something that you're reading the game. I felt like they were making the right plays, and we were in good position. Obviously we have to look at film and see how we can get better, but I mean, those guys were phenomenal, both of them. And when they're going like that, we just have to kind of rally behind them, and they almost, took us home tonight with the win.
Jaylen, you started out pretty hot in the third quarter. How frustrating was it for you to sit with that fourth foul so early in the third?
Yeah, I think that changed the game. I got a offensive foul call on the rebound where I felt like it was just, in the paint, going for the basketball, and that kind of shifted the game for sure. It is what it is. Wish we can get it back. I don't think it was a foul. Don't think it was an offensive foul, but when these little guys flop, they're just inclined to call it.
And you guys have played each other now. You obviously played all four games. There's always somebody out in these matchups. Does Do any of these games give you a sense of what you might expect if you play these guys in the playoffs, or is that just going to be something completely new considering the circumstances?
I think it was a good fight. I think they give credit to Cleveland. They played well, shot the ball incredibly well, made timely baskets, and, they climbed back into the game on the road. It's tough to do, so you got to give them credit. Do I think we, had enough to win the game? I think so for sure. We'll look at it on film and get better and see where spots that we can all improve on. But regardless of who was sitting out, we should have won this game.
Jaylen, how bad was the contusion you suffered in Toronto, and did that affect you? I mean, was there a chance that you didn't play tonight?
Yeah, it was. I've had worse, but it was decent enough that I couldn't go in Detroit. I didn't feel my best to start the day today, but that's a part of it. You get ready for later in the season when you don't always feel your best either. You just got to come out and do what you got to do for your team. Tonight was a night I felt like we had enough to win the game. We just came up short.
I mean, and then you and Jason combined for 83 points, which is the most you have ever combined for. I mean, how much more can anyone really ask of you two?
I probably could have had more, in some spots where, I probably could have got a better shot or been a little bit more patient, even from myself. And same from Jason, they don't want to help. I think they were trying to take away our spacing and our shooting, so they were just staying home on us instead of trying to make us make the reads and pass. So that means we got to dominate every time down the floor. And I feel like I let them off the hook maybe a few times where I could have used some shot fakes, some possessions I definitely would have back. But for the most part, we were aggressive, and that was key for us. But different games, we'll see different game plans each and every night. Sometimes they blitz, sometimes they blue, sometimes, they do different things when I had the ball or when Jason has the ball. Tonight, they, for the most part, stay home. We got to make them pay.
You mentioned those things, that you said you maybe could have done better. Did you notice those shifts that the Cavs made throughout the game? Because you guys scored, a lot better in the first half and the second half. And did it feel like a playoff atmosphere from that perspective with all the little tweaks and adjustments throughout the game?
Yeah, it's a game within a game. They start the game. They started off with double big, Allen and Mobley. To finish the game, they went away from Allen and put Mobley at the 5. So that changed the game, a little bit, but allowed you to get to the basket, etc. They played in the second half. They went more Dean Wade, I guess, to try to match up physically and get some stops. But we got to be able to recognize, space the floor, and being able to get to what we need to get to. So in the game, we got to make adjustments. I thought that they did a good job of adjusting, and I thought we could have did a better job of adjusting to them.
And then in the fourth quarter, Donovan Mitchell was on the floor the whole time. They had 7 offensive rebounds. It felt like Donovan Mitchell was sort of, attacking certain matchups that they preferred. What can you guys do as a defense to sort of try to take them out of those spots where they're trying to get comfortable?
It's a bunch of things that we could have done. We didn't. So we'll look at it, and we'll be ready. If we play them in a series, we'll have we're pretty versatile as a team. So we'll be able to give different looks. Tonight he tried to, find the matchups that he wanted, and things like that to get himself in a good spot. But as we, if we potentially see them down the line, we'll have some good information.
Jaylen, tonight's the first night of Ramadan. I just wondered if you had a message for people who are observing.
Yeah, Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak. Wishing everybody peace and prosperity as they start this journey, and everybody fasting around the world.
Jaylen, what was your impressions of them with Hunter? It's the first time seeing them with Hunter.
I thought he made some timely baskets for them. He's shooting the ball well right now. He was 3 for 3 from 3. So, he made some tough ones too, like good closeouts. So, that's obviously a benefit for them if he's shooting the ball well. So, just something that we take note of. But, we play them in the series, we'll be ready.
It's good at this point to face a team that wants what you have. Like, they're coming after you, and to see them fully healthy? I mean, is this a good experience for 2 months from now?
Absolutely. It was definitely an intense game, a great atmosphere. You could tell that they wanted to beat us, and we came out, swinging. And we had enough. We had enough to win a game, despite whoever was sitting out. Whatever, we should have won this game. A couple possessions that we can improve on. That can make smarter decisions. A few plays that I wish I could have back, but for the most part, we were aggressive, and they hit shots. You gotta give them credit.
Jaylen, do you, think about the top seed in the conference? Is that something that doesn't enter your mind at all? Obviously, these were the games where you could have made up a little more ground. Is it something you even think about still?
Obviously, home court advantage makes a big difference. We definitely want to go into the playoffs with home court advantage. But at the end of the day, you got to play basketball. How the cards fall is how the cards fall. So we got to be ready to go, even if we do have home court advantage. As teams is looking to take us out. So not extremely focused on it. But, the regular season is you got to take care of business, put yourself in a good spot. For the most part, we've been doing that. So we just got to finish the season strong and get ready, get our minds ready for battle.
It seems like for the most part, when NBA teams have a 22-point lead 5 minutes into the game, it's pretty inevitable that the other team's going to respond. When you're in that position, how tough is it psychologically when you realize you were up 22 and now you're not anymore? And does that kind of linger throughout the game, or by the time it's a 10-point, 5-point game, that's in the past? How much of it is wow, we had a good opportunity to run away with it and we didn't?
Yeah, it's basketball, so you got to just stay with it. I think we had a lead early, and then I think in the third quarter we were up 17 again. So we was able to, separate, and we'll look at what happened in those spots. But defensively, you got to find a way to get stops. They made some tough, timely baskets as well. But, you got to play a full 48 minutes, especially with a good team like Cleveland. They've been playing well, shooting the ball well. They're confident. So look forward to the next time we see them.
I put this entire arena on tilt with my hot take about Star Wars.
I can't wrap my mind around that. That one shook me. That's even worse than my take. You're not a Star Wars guy?
My buddy Sean is a huge Star Wars fan, and the running joke has become I always make Star Trek references when he brings it up.
Oh.
Because the real stupid people conflate the two movies, or don't know how to differentiate them. So live long and prosper, all you Star Wars.
That's a whole podcast in itself.
I know.
I want to know your reasons why you don't like Star Wars.
This is the first thing that's going to turn. Not the first thing that's going to turn the people that watch this podcast against me.
Raise some eyebrows.
I don't know.
What do you hate about it?
And you know
or
what?
not like?
Well, here so if you want to really peel back the layers of why I feel.
What did Star Wars do to you?
Well, no. So what did Star Wars do to me? It's a fair question. It's that I never watched them when I was a kid.
Okay.
And so then there was just never a point where I said, "Oh, I should go back and watch that." And
Did you feel left out?
I do.
Oh, you felt left out.
Yes.
Oh, you were hurt.
Right.
You were just left out.
It's easy.
So it's not you. I understand it.
It's easier.
You have a distaste.
When none of the girls wanted to talk to me as a kid, it's easier.
You just weren't cool enough.
Yeah, it's easier to be like, I didn't care about the girls.
You didn't care about the lightsabers. You didn't care about the girls. Wow, that makes so much sense. So you were just hurt.
I do think there will be a day. I don't think it'll be anytime soon, but I'm sure as I get older, I will invariably watch Return of the Jedi or something like that, and I'll be like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah, you just need to revisit it.
The irony is that
I
really enjoy Spaceballs, which is just a takeoff on Star Wars. But
you just need to revisit it.
And I probably don't get half the jokes in it because
we'll start from day one. We'll start from the. I had a Luke Skywalker bike growing up. Really? Yeah, I did. It was one of my favorite bikes.
Do you think you still? Do you think?
Is that weird to me that I had a Luke Skywalker? I think it's pretty cool.
Steve Burton still have it in the garage?
He's a hoarder, so Steve Burton could have the Luke Skywalker bike.
Yet again, I am trying to deflect from the task at hand because I don't want to talk about this game anymore. But we do have another game on Sunday.
Yes.
Denver Nuggets in town. We did not get to see Nikola Jokic the last time. The Nuggets are kind of rolling right now. Just busted the Detroit Pistons.
And that's a big deal because the Pistons are riding a streak. Yeah, until tonight.
How are you feeling about the Celtics' chances to dust themselves off after this one?
I feel good.
After two kind of rough losses in a row?
I feel good. I really do. I feel good because back-to-back losses is one. Detroit, I wasn't feeling any type of. I didn't feel negatively about that loss.
Sure.
I thought like, okay, they were out
They were
more
on fumes.
physical. Like they just were, too many turnovers early on from the Celtics and Jason Tatum. So I'm like, okay, whatever, we can live with that loss. It's the regular season, fine. This one tonight just showed, I think, that the Cavs are the top seed in the East. When it comes to Sunday, I think they're going to play with juice. I cannot see, and I don't think they can even see. Even Jaylen Brown said in postgame, like, we can't see ourselves going 3 down. Like, it's just unacceptable. I think
Doesn't happen.
They'll play with juice, right. They'll play with juice. You got Jokic coming. You got Jamal Murray. Like, this is a great opportunity for them to say, okay, we're good. Let's bounce back. Let's show we're going to be a good team. I'm feeling good. What about you?
Same. And the other thing that I'll lean on is as good as Tatum was tonight, when there is another MVP candidate on the other side, we've seen this repeatedly, that tends to bring out the best in Tatum.
Yes.
The numbers might not be as glitzy. It's going to be hard to better a 39-7 first halves. And,
Almost a triple-double
But
total.
With Mr. Triple-Double Jokic on the other side, it would be pretty fitting if Jason Tatum went out there and had a big night. We'll be here with you. You come to hang out with us on Sunday afternoon.
Everyone, please bring Chris all the Star Wars gear that you can think of. Just flood this man, with Star Wars stuff.
This could end badly. I should have said something that I really like that I don't like.
No, this is
that
great.
way
We're gonna change your love.
Yeah,
we got a mustache and Star Wars. I got 2 themes for Chris.
I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see. I need everybody to go like, subscribe, check
Yes.
us out on the YouTube page. We'll catch you Sunday night on the Celtics Talk podcast.
See y'all then.